Hello and a very warm welcome to our YouTube channel Corrosion Control and Inspections. We will be sharing informative videos on various corrosion and its preventive measures, non-destructive as well as destructive inspections, welding, metallurgy, coating selections and paintings as well as asset integrity assessments related topics. Your valuable feedback will be important for us. Do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. Press bell icon to keep yourself notified about upcoming videos. In this video we will discuss what is the risk assessment and why is it important. What are the key steps to doing a risk assessment? What are the elements of a risk assessment? What is risk management? What are the elements of a risk management program? How can we control risk by modifying the process parameters? What is risk strategy? What is risk assessment matrix? What is the benefit of risk assessment? ISO 31000 creates a new definition of risk, as the effect of uncertainty on objectives, whether positive or negative. This definition shifts the understanding of risk away from the possibility of a negative outcome and toward the uncertainty itself. Risk assessment is a term used to describe the overall process or method where you identify hazards and risk factors that have the potential to cause harm. Hazard identification, analyze and evaluate the risk associated with that hazard, risk analysis, and risk evaluation. A risk assessment is a systematic process that involves identifying, analyzing, and controlling hazards and risks. It is performed by a competent person to determine which measures are or should be in place to eliminate or control the risk in the workplace in any potential situation. Risk is made up of two parts: the probability of something going wrong, and the negative consequences if it does. Risk can be hard to spot, however, let alone to prepare for and manage. And, if you're hit by a consequence that you hadn't planned for, costs, time, and reputations could be on the line. Risk assessments are carried out to formally identify hazards or risks involved to employees and others when carrying out a task. This helps the employer put into place adequate measures to protect people from harm. But the importance of risk assessments goes beyond the fact they're a legal requirement. A risk assessment is intended to estimate potential human health and environmental risks posed by current and potential future conditions, assuming no further remediation of the facility. The risk matrix is based on two intersecting factors: the likelihood that the risk event will occur, and the potential impact that the risk event will have on the business. In other words, it's a tool that helps you visualize the probability vs the severity of a potential risk. A risk assessment matrix, sometimes called a risk control matrix, is a tool used during the risk assessment stage of project planning. It identifies and captures the likelihood of project risks and evaluates the potential damage or interruption caused by those risks. A risk matrix is a matrix that is used during risk assessment to define the level of risk by considering the category of probability or likelihood against the category of consequence severity. This is a simple mechanism to increase visibility of risks and assist management decision making. Risk assessments can be done in following way. 1. Identify hazards. Identifying and locating any potential hazards is the first step when carrying out a risk assessment. Several different types of hazards should be considered. Physical risks include tripping or falling in the workplace, sustaining injuries when lifting heavy materials or working with dangerous machinery. 2. Assess the risks by deciding who might be harmed and how. Once you have identified the hazards, decide how likely it is that someone could be harmed and how serious it could be. This is assessing the level of risk. 3. Control the risks by evaluating the risks and deciding on precautions. 4. Record your findings and implement them accordingly. 5. Review the controlling factors of your risk assessment and update the assessments accordingly. The risk assessment process consists of 4 parts. First is hazard identification, which aims to determine the qualitative nature of the adverse effects by a contaminant. Hazard characterization determines the relationship between the dose and the incidence of effect. This could be investigated by establishing dose-response relationships. Third is exposure assessment, which aims to determine the amount of contaminant an individual is likely to receive. Several factors such as dietary habits, lifestyles and cultures could influence this. And risk characterization, the final phase of the risk assessment process is risk characterization, which integrates the 3 processes mentioned above, and determines the probability of an adverse effect by a contaminant to a human population. A risk management strategy is a structured approach to addressing risks, and can be used in companies of all sizes and across any industry. Risk management is best understood not as a series of steps, but as a cyclical process in which new and ongoing risks are continually identified, assessed, managed, and monitored. Ensure risks are identified early. Factor in organizational goals and objectives. Manage risk within context. Involve stakeholders, ensure responsibilities and roles are clear. Create a cycle of risk review. Strive for continuous improvement. One of the main benefits of conducting a risk assessment is being able to evaluate the effectiveness of a company's workplace safety system. Carrying out a thorough risk assessment and taking steps to reduce the assessed risks can prevent accidents and ill health, and the costs that come with them. A complete and up-to-date risk assessment can also demonstrate compliance with the HSE, avoiding fines for poor health and safety. Thanks for visiting our channel. I hope you liked our content. In order to pass the C-SWIP exam, feel free to contact on the given email address. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment.